Hey boys, welcome back to the channel, and it's gonna be Supercoach Season 20, the round 3. Did I say Season 20? Season 2020, the round 3 review. And as you can see, we had a great week. 1254, top 3%. Total score, we boosted our season rank. We shot up the leaderboards, which is nice. We definitely needed a nice boost. And it came down. It came down to a not a gutsy play, but it was a bit of a risk for sure. And you'll see that in a second. I'm very happy with the selection. But honestly, halfway through the week, my tips have been going bad. I felt like Supercoach was awful. I was resigned to the fact I was going to get a terrible score. I just thought nothing's going right in Supercoach this week, but it turned out it wasn't a half bad week. So let's we'll just go to my team. We'll see the scores here and what happened. And the one thing you're gonna see, dude, we left a lot of points on the bench, which is frustrating, but some of them couldn't be helped. Some of them I'm not worried about, but one in particular, and you'll see him there. But let's go through it. So Appy Coruscant again, 78, just absolutely killing it. He did get a spell in the game against the Knights, but when he went off, the Panthers looked a hell of a lot worse, and he came back on pretty soon. So I don't think the Panthers can really afford to not play Coruscant for at least maybe 10 minute spells here and there. But for the Panthers to do anything good this year, they need Coruscant to play huge minutes. So I mean, he's just an absolute star. I'm still happy with the selection. Blake Brayley, 41. Happy with it. Pretty much the plan with Blake Brayley. His name was so goddamn hard to say, dude. I don't know why. Just the double B's there. But the plan with Brayley here is to play him next week and then pretty much switch him with Harry Grant. I think that's the play. I mean, Grant scored excellent in his first game. Obviously, he did score a try, which boosted him. But pretty much Brayley to Harry Grant next week. Because if you don't know, it takes 3 games for the prices to increase. So now you're going to see all the prices increase. I think pretty much it looks like most of my players have increased in price, which is nice. But yeah, Brayley will get his price rise. Obviously, leaving a bit of money with Brayley, but Harry Grant is bottom. I think he's bottom price, 170k, and he's gonna skyrocket. So it's pretty much a simple trade to Harry Grant, and who knows, Harry Grant could be an absolute star. So he's definitely the trade option next week. The forward or the front rows here, Payne Haas, and this was a gamble not captaining Payne Haas and Tamalolo. You can probably guess who I captained. You can probably guess. But yeah, we had Payne Haas again, just killed it. And I was gonna put the captaincy on Payne Haas even just before the game kicked off. I was like, I'm just gonna do it. But then honestly, like I said in the previous video, I was sort of a bit. I was out of Supercoach a little bit, because of the extended break and the amount of trades I had to make. I was feeling a bit like, I'm not that invested. So I took the punt and it worked off. It paid off. And that Alex Twal, 61, very, very good. I'm very happy with Alex Twal. And I think I don't know what Liam Knight scored, but I think he had a bit of a shocker. He did go off for HIA a couple of times, I think, and also just didn't have a great night. So I'm happy with the trade. I think a lot of comments were saying that Twile got robbed of some points because, apparently they didn't count a lot of his stats. But 61, I mean, you got to be, if he gets 60s every week, I mean that's pretty solid for a front row for sure. Rudolph, very good, great cheapie. Zane Musgrove, this was the annoying one because obviously he got dropped. But I couldn't trade him. I obviously wanted to get Tanur Brown in from the Warriors, but I didn't have enough trades to get Musgrove, and I obviously could have saved a trade elsewhere and done it, but honestly I thought it's not that big a deal. I mean, I'm going to miss out on some money with Tanur Brown, but it is what it is. I'm sure there's going to be another cheapie pop up anyway. So, Musgrove, a bit annoying. He got dropped. I'm a bit surprised, but yeah, he got the boot. In the back row here, Tamalolo, 75. He was. It was sort of a typical Tamalolo performance. The first stanza, teams were, the Titans were onto him. He didn't make that much ground. He didn't have that high a work rate. And then he comes out in the second stanza and just absolutely dominates. So, 75. Jai Arrow, 82. He didn't even play the full game. I was annoyed because I was watching the game and Jai Arrow, he went off for his customary spell. And it was only a short spell. And then my absolute most hated player in the NRL, and I know I don't know why I hate him so much, but I just don't rate him as a player at all. I just cannot stand him at the Titans. Kevin Proctor freaking took Jai Arrow out. I was so mad at this too. Obviously, this is a bit of a rant off topic, but Jai Arrow, he was there was two players, Arrow and another Titans player, wrapping up one of the Cowboys players, and they were, they had him under control. He was about to get the held call, and Kevin Proctor comes flying in out of nowhere, third man in type stuff, and just collects Arrow, just collects him, clocks him in the head, and Arrow had to go off with concussion, and I was furious, but he still got 82 points, absolutely killed it. But yeah, Kevin Proctor, I just cannot stand him, dude. And then Luciano Leilua, obviously this one was a bit of a whiff. And I think I did have the money to get Ryan Madison over Luciano Leilua, and I still might have the money, honestly. I might, but I don't know. I still like Luciano Leilua. I mean, 47 points. Obviously, didn't really get any attacking stats, so it's not bad. Paddy Carrigan, one of our reserves, 58. Got to be happy with that for a fairly cheap price. This is the man here. So Elisa Katoa, and Jamil Hopewade. So the annoying part was that idiot Stephen Kearney. I talked about this in my round 3 review. I don't know what the hell is wrong with Stephen Kearney. He's got absolute rocks in his head, but he didn't have Elisa Katoa starting the game, and it was just because of a freak injury to Lachlan Burr in the warm-up that Katoa started the match. And I was furious because I knew that Katoa was going to score well. Obviously, he got the try, which boosted his points, but I was like, I was going to take the gamble on playing Katoa over Hopewade anyway. But I thought, you know what, Hopewade playing 80 minutes, Katoa might play big minutes, but who knows? So I went with Hopewade, who still honestly went pretty good. I mean, 44 points. He made a lot of errors, but he looked pretty solid. So I'm not displeased with Hopewade, but it's annoying because I would have played Katoa if he had the starting spot, which he should have. Just Stephen Kearney is an absolute fool, and he just got saved because Burr went down injured. So yeah, that's a couple of rant moments out of the way there. Then we move on to the halves. A bit disappointing here for sure. So Mitchell Moses, 59. It's pretty good, but honestly, the points they put on the Broncos, obviously I'm a Broncos fan, and the one saving grace usually is if the Eels put points on the Broncos, Mitchell Moses scores really well for me, but he didn't even score that well. 59 is good, but it's not great. It was sort of the Dylan Brown show, unfortunately. Billy Walters, honestly, he scored 39 points off the bench, which is pretty solid. He is definitely a trade out option. And someone actually made a good point in the last Supercoach video that I could switch. Who did I have? I could switch. Oh yeah, I could switch Walters. Oh, what did he say? I can't remember, but the idea was that I would have Luai in the team instead of Walters, and Drinkwater as well.
So, because obviously Luai was taking that sort of playmaker dominant role, he had Kikau outside of him, and it looked like it was going to bite me in the arse a bit because Luai set Kikau up and he had Kikau outside of him terrorizing, but the Panthers were useless. I don't know how many points Luai scored. I think he probably scored pretty well, but honestly, I'm not displeased with the decision there. And then Sean Johnson, 22. I don't know what to do with Johnson. After I go through the review, I'm gonna look at a couple of things here to see who I can potentially bring in to the fray for Johnson, because I don't know, dude. Is he past it? He did score, what did he score, like 100 in the first round, so I don't know, dude. And then Scotty Drinkwater, 55. Honestly, pretty happy with that. I brought him in for Luai and to make some money, and also to have like a solid reserve player. And I mean, Drinkwater's look fantastic, so pretty good there. And then look at the back line. Look at the back line. So Isaiah Yeo killed it, 104. Extremely happy. Jermaine Azarko, honestly, 31 points in that Broncos performance. I'm pretty content with. For the amount of ball they dropped and how much defense they had to do, to still crack out 31 points is actually pretty solid. Zach Lomax, 47, pretty good. I again, like how terrible the Dragons were, it's a pretty solid stat sheet for Lomax because they were terrible and didn't score a try. So not bad. And then Kurt Mann again, doing well, 46. But look at it. Ben Hampton, 78. I mean, I in hindsight, maybe I should have played Hampton because the Cowboys were versing the Titans, but he scored a try in round 1. He scored a try in round 2. That I thought the streak would end, but he scored 2 tries, obviously, against the Titans, and looked pretty dumb. He looked really sharp. He looked really good on the wing, honestly. Hampton's looked solid, in the games he's played. But yeah, I'm not disappointed about this one because it was a toss-up between him and probably Kurt Mann. And, I think Kurt Mann was just more safe. He still got like 50 points. Hampton had to get 2 tries to get the 78. So, yeah, it's one of those ones where, obviously, if you got a winger that gets a couple of tries, they're going to score well. Bradman Best got 100. And this one, again, I'm not disappointed with this one at all because, obviously, this was the trade option. I took out Callum Watkins for Bradman Best, not because he wasn't even meant to be playing, but I just thought, well, Bradman Best is eventually going to get into that Knights team, and I thought, you know what, we'll just save a trade. We'll save a trade for later on, so we don't have to muck around and bring Best in at a later date. And obviously, who was it? Shibazaki went down injured, I think, in warm-ups, or something happened to Shibazaki, and Bradman Best came in and looked very, very good. He did bomb the game for the Knights. He did absolutely butcher a try, but he scored a couple, looked sensational. So pretty happy to have him here. And Willie Army, honestly, again, 37 points in that Dragons outfit, not the worst. And then the big money makers, we had Tom Trbojevic, 152 points as captain. Oh baby. Honestly, Thursday night when I was tossing and turning about the captaincy, I'm like, you know what? They're taking on the Dogs. I've tipped that the Sea Eagles are going to flog the Dogs. I feel like they're going to not show up. I feel like, Manly is going to absolutely just destroy them. And honestly, with the new 6 to go rule and how I obviously didn't know that the game would speed up that much, but it's sort of, a little bit in the back of my mind was like, you know what? If the game speeds up and they're given 6 to goes, Tommy could absolutely run riot, and that's what he did. So I got the 300 with Tommy Trbojevic, and then Pappenhausen 54. Again, his price actually went down, which is surprising, but I'm not
I mean, 54 is good again, but Pappenhausen just cannot break out. Like, I'm obviously keeping up Pappenhausen because I feel like he's in for some big weeks, but he just hasn't been able to really get the attacking stats. It's all been base for him predominantly. But that's the team. So what we're looking for in sort of this week for trades, honestly, Sean Johnson, maybe. Who are they versing, dude? Sharks are versing the Cowboys. The Cowboys aren't necessarily the best defensive side. It's a tough one because Johnson can easily bang out 100 just like that. But other than that, probably, Musgrove is top on the list. And then, honestly, not too much else. I'm pretty happy with the team. I'm pretty happy with the team overall. Billy Walters. It's probably Billy Walters, Johnson, Lomax potentially, and Musgrove obviously. They're sort of the temptations because I do want Hopewade. Hopewade again. He's obviously not going to stay in the team, but while he's getting that starting back row spot, he'll stay because he's going to make money and score pretty well. He's got a good work rate and got a good bit of skill. If he can just stop dropping the ball, he looks pretty good, honestly. So let's have a quick look. So Sean Johnson, if we trade him out, who can we pick up? We can pick up honestly anyone. We have got a stack of cash, and that was sort of the good thing about keeping that 200k. Cameron Munster. He's obviously high on the list. Other than that, looking at the 5'8", I'm not... And this was the trouble originally, because I was originally worried about Johnson, but, Cody Walker, obviously, he's got his issues now, and you're not going to get him, but Munster was always probably the number one, but his price was so high. And then the rest of them, Keary is good, but he really relies on attacking stats. His base points are very low, doesn't goal kick. Benji Marshall, very, very hot and cold. He's obviously had a great start to the year. Jack Wyden always scores about 50 points, which is good, but it's not great. Dylan Brown only scored 52. I actually thought Dylan Brown would have got way more than that. I thought he was dominant in that match, but apparently not. And then, Connor Watson would be the guy, but they signed bloody Andrew McCulloch because obviously Watson would have got that starting dummy half spot. He did get concussed in the first 5 minutes, so he only got 8 points this week, but McCulloch's he's going to take the dummy half spot, so Connor Watson is a no-go now. And then, there's no one else. There's no one around the mid-range that I would be interested at all. Where is Jerome Luai? Let's see, how many did he score? Okay, I feel vindicated, dude. He only scored 37, so that's not great considering he would have got a try assist for that kick out one. But he's a live wire. He can score points. So we have Cameron Munster, but honestly, that could be the trade because Munster, I would say, is more consistent than Johnson. Probably Johnson has the chance to go higher, but Munster just probably averages more. And there's no origin, there's no buys, so Munster is a pretty decent pickup. And then Billy Walters, again, I'll probably keep Walters just because he's going to get some decent price rises, but in the halfback role, we have some decent options for sure. We can't... Unfortunately, we can't afford Cleary. I probably wouldn't have minded bringing in Cleary. DCE, Luke Brooks, the rest of these guys, nothing really stands out. There's a couple of cheaper guys, actually, though, that aren't the worst. Cody Nikorima, no thank you. Jake Turpin, he's the guy. He's the guy because he's playing dummy half. He's playing 80 minutes at dummy half. And I'm like, that's pretty easy money. It's decent points, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. And then going down the list, not too much else. Not too much else to really look at. I think probably if we're going to go there, it probably would be Jake Turpin. And then if we go the other one here, I'm going to have to get rid of Musgrove. So let's have a look
at the options. I wonder did Tanor Brown play that first match? Let's have a look, actually, because hopefully if Tanor Brown didn't play the first game, I could potentially okay, there we go. It was freezing up for a second, but if Tanor Brown didn't play that first game, we could potentially get him for still cheap. He wouldn't be that expensive, but let's have a look at who we can get. I mean, we got 400k we could spend in the front row. You get some decent value for sure. Sean Kepi, he obviously did play the first game because he's gone up. He's gone up quite a bit. Yeah, he's gone up bloody 70,000. He scored that try and he's up to 245. I'm sort of like, is it worth it at this point? Is it worth it getting someone like him, or maybe getting, you know, more of a mid-range pricer? Like, again, there's nothing that really stands out. Ryan James is still the absolute worst, dude. He would have been the easiest pickup of all time, but obviously did his knee for the season. Yeah, I mean, Ueli, no, he's not getting the minutes. I mean, Christian Welsh, potentially. Corey Horsburgh could be a good pickup. Ah, man, I can't actually afford Horsburgh. So yeah, there's a few decisions to make there. Nothing too major though, which is nice. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the round 3 review here. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.